Hi, this is Linzi Levinson, and I posted a video a few days ago and said that I was going to be posting some more with regard to challenging and stimulating your thinking. I didn't plan to post one this soon. I was going to try to shoot for maybe once a week, but with what happened at the Boston Marathon today, I feel compelled to get moving on my next idea about challenging thought. I have a thought that we as a society, we in America, maybe in the world, but I think more in America, look at mental illness. We talk about it a lot. We name it a lot. We label people. Somebody has bipolar, somebody has depression, somebody has schizophrenia, PTSD. And while I am all about education and have no issue with people actually understanding if they do suffer from anything that may be defined as such in the DSM or any other book that is a medical book offering terminology and understanding, what I would like to have you as an audience consider, and what I would like to propose that has really been something that's been on my mind for some time, is the potential that the terms mental illness or even a mental disorder might be interchangeable with genius. Now, for some of you, you might be thinking, well, okay, that's not that hard to grasp. I mean, folks who can build a bomb or serial killers or some of the folks that we might consider ill, we also know to be probably pretty brilliant to be able to do what they've done. So I'm sort of rolling back tape and asking us to go back to a time in childhood. And while I want to propose the concept that maybe mental illness is an overload of brilliance, I also sort of intermix this concept with how we as a nation talk a lot about gun control, and we have a controversy over gun control and different sides of that issue. And when, for example, the Boston Marathon, I mean, those were bombs, those were not guns today. When many of the children were just shot not so long ago at the school, the young children, or any of these shootings. Of course, it launches us into controversy over gun control. In all of these cases, I want to consider, what if we as a nation said that the answer is to start studying the brain of children 2 years old, and to study it through life in a way that we do not do right now. Some parents bring their children in because they think they might have a need to be looked at psychiatrically, maybe medically, maybe therapeutically, maybe spiritually. But again, what we do is we are a reactive society. So if somebody is quiet and isolated, then an incident happens, we say that person was so quiet and nice and they kept to themselves. If somebody was bubbly and very high energy, we say that person was so friendly and funny. What were they doing getting on the top of a building shooting everyone? We're quick to analyze the personality traits of people once they've harmed others. We don't have a lot of compassion for those people, and I struggle with this myself. Being in the field where empathy is first and foremost, I feel for certainly victims, but my mind immediately goes to, what is the overload in a human's brain that was unable to be organized such that they would do the opposite of human instinct and take lives? And again, we go back to labels. Did they have a disorder? Are they just a sociopath? They have no remorse. They don't care. So again, we could argue this all day long. What are the reasons? Should we have guns? Is there mental illness? What is a genius? How do we channel brilliance? We could spend a lot of time on these, but I say that we can take action and empower ourselves by putting into place medical policies and educational policies. And when I say policies, I mean rules, laws, jurisdictions. We don't let our children join school until they've been through their immunizations or sports. But why don't we start mandating the study of the brain? And there are ways to do this. And I say that if we studied this closely, again, if 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds were assessed by the folks who understand what might show up as unique or something to pay attention to, potentially an alarm, if those trained eyes could identify that at the age of 2, 3, 4, by the time these children get their yearly assessments, they're not feeling completely overwhelmed and alarmed that someone's calling them in a room for play therapy or for talk therapy. They are used to it. It's like their immunizations. They may like it, they may not, but it's part of their medical care through life, and they understand it. And if we did that, we would have data, a lot of data from specialists, trained specialists who specialize in understanding the mechanics of the brain, psychology, psychoimmunology, psychoneuroimmunology, meaning how healthy is that person based on if they're tormented by their own brain. So if someone's very sickly, we can be looking at that through life as well and understanding is there some torment that creates somatic results. So I propose here today that my thought for you to consider is that rather than try to look at people and say, how crazy was that person? Or, and granted, terrorists might be in a league of their own, but what if we studied terrorists and they were 2-year-old children? Are they terrorists yet? Who has the potential to have the overload in their brain that would allow them to take other human lives when they're old enough to have the power to do so? Who has that potential? And do we have the potential to create systems, laws, and jurisdictions that can make that change? Can we as a nation, can we as an America, can we as a country, can we as a world affect that change? I'd like to stimulate your thinking on that issue today and tonight as we say a prayer for everyone who went through what they did at the Boston Marathon and everyone connected to it. This is Linzi Levinson. Thanks for listening.